Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to our daily session. We are in our trading room at the moment, and we are just looking at charts. So as I promised, I'm going to record a webinar with the daily charts for the general public, and hope you guys like it. Hope it's informative. Remember, these are long-term charts. They do not happen very fast, right? So all these projections might take quite a while to go. And if you want to understand how long-term charts work, go back to my video not so long ago on the 8th of November. I did one on the Aussie pairs. Now, there was one impatient person who 2 weeks after I did it went and wrote in the comment, hey, all those charts you said are going to go up are not working. Well, they are all working perfectly. So I'm not going to go through the details of the Aussie one, but I'll show you the charts, and you can go back and look at it from the 8th to now where they are. And they work perfectly. I mean, every single one of them. So what we are expecting on the long-term chart, I'm going to put it in the daily, and we're going to do daily and weekly because these are long-term charts. So on the big long-term charts, we are expecting this pattern to complete itself. I'm not going to go very much into all the details on all the charts. I'm going to select a few of them. So I will start with the dollar index, which I'll do a little more detail in, and then I will probably do one or two more. The rest of this, if you want to understand and know how this works and why it's working like that, well, you know what to do. Join us, right? So what I'm expecting is that this will probably consolidate here at some point and drop beyond this low before they go back up. Again, if you're following me, you know I like to say watch for the break of the low before they go, especially in patterns that are regular flats. Now, they don't always have to break the low, but that's a different pattern. We never make the forecast on this going up without breaking the low. Although they go up without breaking the low, it's not a very common pattern. We call it the contracting flat, and it's not that common, right? But it does exist. So if we think this is going to go up without that, we will be in the trade. Right now, I don't think that's what they're doing, right? I assume they would consolidate here some more, maybe even go a little high, but then we're going to drop here and then go. Now, if we are convinced that the pattern here is showing us more upside, we'll take the trade. Long term. Right now, if we get a buy setup, it will be a short-term trade and a 1 hour for us, not a long-term trade. Right? So what is the bigger weekly, monthly structure for you? Why do we think it's going to do that? Well, it's very simple. You just have to look at the charts and understand patterns. I'm just going to show you two pieces. I'm going to put a line here for you. Come on. I'm going to put a line there, and I'm going to put a line here. What's wrong with this thing? Yep. See, this didn't break the top, break the low, and then go up. See how it went up? It didn't go very fast. It took a long time, and it took months to leave there. But once you understand the forecast, you understand which direction you're going to be trading in and how you should trade and what you should do. So why do we think this is going to come and go there? Well, because it seems like they're making a very similar pattern like they made here. By the way, the pattern is not this. I would just show you that for reference. The pattern is a much more complex pattern than that. But it is, incorporate those two. It is a much more complex pattern in here. We're not discussing patterns here. I'm just telling you. This is a very simple pattern. And when this was happening, we knew this was unlikely going to fall because of the way this was going, or that's not an impulse to the upside. But once it goes there, it's going to come back here, go up, break the top. And the good thing is once we break that top, the likely chances we're going to come back to this low. Now, if you're watching this is not going to happen now. It could happen 2 years, 3 years from now, maybe faster, but a year, 2 years, 3 years from now. And you're going to say to me, how the hell can you tell what's going to happen 3 years from now? That's the amazing thing of this forecast that we use. The method we use to forecast the charts can tell you what is going to happen without telling you why it's going to happen. Now, there are many, many forecasts like that I've done. You can go look at them. I'm not even going to go through all of them. Some of the very famous one is the one of the pound falling. And we actually have a chart of it. It's on my Facebook page, right? The ProWave page. So the reason we know these things are going to happen is because they're already happening. This drop is not going to happen. This up move and this drop is not going to happen because of what is going to happen at that moment. It is going to happen because what started at this moment. This was when this move started to tell us that they will go up and they will drop it back to this level. So it's not what's going to happen 3 years from now or 2 years from now. It is what is happening right now. And what happened, what started here. The process that started here is a corrective structure, right? It is started accumulation, or I don't know if you, well, accumulating of what? Put it that way, right? Not the dollar, most likely. But this is going to drop, and dollar would likely, there's a 90% chance we're going to happen. Now, it's like I said, it's not going to happen right now. The up move could happen very soon. This is not going to happen very soon. But you could come back to the charts 3 years, 4 years from now. You'll come back and you'll let me know what you think about it, right? Because I can show you a few of them I've done 5 years back, and they're perfect, right? Why? Don't ask me. Silver, we're looking at the same thing. Silver is in a big correction. There are sometimes when I get it wrong, which means temporarily the pattern I was looking for turned out to be wrong. Like silver, I thought would come and break this top and then come down and then probably go back up. Well, it didn't break the top. As you can see, it came here very close to breaking the top, and they dropped it, broke the low, and now they're going back up. So if you're following me, you would know I said silver will go to around 20 something. Well, now that has changed because they broke the low first. That changes the big term picture. Right now, we're in consolidation. Now, there's a very high probability. We can't tell what is going to happen in there as yet. There's a high probability that this consolidation could be coming on for years downwards like this. Or we make a very nice flat here and make a new high. I don't think we're going to break this high as yet. It's possible because we could go with this as being all the correction and we're going up. That's a complete pattern. But time-wise, that pattern is too small if we're looking at the previous correction in silver. The previous correction in silver was 20 years before the yearly impulse start. This one is only 10 years. So my thought process is this is not the complete, this is just part of it. And this one might give us something like this, probably go back there. We might get a move and then start a down move. So we might end up with something like this, come back down here and then go. That is a likely scenario. Right now it's consolidating. And if you're in this consolidation on daily, what you're looking for is this at some point, come back, break this low, and then go back up. So how is it going to come? Slowly, or is it going to come very fast? I think we might work our way slowly down and then go. How they go, we don't know, but we can tell you what direction we expect it to go. So come back, break this low, and then we will see where it goes from there. Gold is an all-time high. And if you're in an all-time high, very likely you will correct. Now, the only question is how deep this correction is going to go. And because we've got this as the impulse, the likelihood is we're going to get this as an impulse. So I could see the possibility of gold coming back to this low before we go up. So this is a likely pattern that we know. It's a running flat pattern. Now, those patterns very often, happen and behave the same way we expect them to behave. Sometimes it might get much more complex than that. Can it get more complex? Can we get a bigger correction here and then go back up there and then come down? Possible. There are many variations of how the patterns could change, especially when you don't have a confirmed pattern forming right now, right? Like this is not confirming a running flat for us. I'm just assuming that the most likelihood is it's going to be a running flat. We still have a lot of pieces that has to fit in here for us to know where it's going to go. On the daily, we're going sideways. I'm going to go to the daily. We're going sideways, and for your trading purpose on the daily, expect it to come back here. Now, it might go up first and then come, or it might drop. These long-term forecasts are not for trading purpose. They're for analytical purpose. Why is it important? Because if it comes here first, it's going up. You know that. You can start trading to the upside longer term if it comes down there. If it comes here first, which is you can trade that up on the shorter time frame, then it's going to come back here and then go. So you're not going to be buying this for longer term trade, investment type trading. You would trade it up to the top and then you would look for the sell and then you'll buy back. Because that's how these patterns will complete themselves. Can the patterns become more complex than that? Absolutely. Which means this can end up coming back here, drop again, make a flat in here, go back up like that, and then slowly crawl its way down like this, and then go. And we'll get something like that. And that is possible. That is a pattern we know. So if it is going to be very complex, staying sideways, we will trade it, but we will only see the pattern 3 years from now or 2 years from now. And we have one that where that pattern turns out to be a running flat 3 years or 4 years after we followed it, believing it's a correction for the upside, right? So we will see that. Euro, same thing like the dollar index. We think euro is going to break that up. It has exactly the same pattern, right? We think this is going to go here, break this up, and then drop. We have a correction here also. We had a correction here. Same thing, it's like this actually. You've got a sharp move, got a correction, then you get kind of a 1, 2, 3. You can go with a 4 and a 5. This is not the best 4 and 5, but we look at it possible there. And then this sharp move up, a correction here. We knew that was corrective. A sharp move up, and then there's a likely chance for you to retest this low before they go. So you may say to me, well, this thing is going up. Why are you so insistent in going back? Why wouldn't it do this? It could. I'm not saying it wouldn't, but I said those are cases with a rare. Most times when we see these structures, the way they behave, when you see this happening, the likelihood is every time they break that top, they come back. So what is the forecast good for? It's warning you of something that watch it as you come close to this top. If you're in a big trade or you're trading to the upside, you would want to be careful. Because if it starts to go down, you might want to start selling, not just for a correction, but for a longer term trade to the downside. Right? Because the patterns behave the same way every time, 90% of the time. So there's a 90% chance that if you get some trades from the top going down and you manage to keep some, they might go far enough to give you a lot of profit. Pound. This one is interesting. So you may ask me, what is the forecast I was talking about? Let me put it in the daily. The forecast I was talking about was this down move to happen. Let's put it back at the weekly so you can see it. But for this down move to happen, starting from this point, exactly from that point, coming down to break this low. That was my forecast. It will come, break this low, and then we might start to see the move up. Boy, I was wrong, right? Not only did they break that low, they went lower, and they actually pulled back and broke the low again. So now we're getting something here that starts to look like a running flat or the end of the structure here, right? If we put this as a contracting flat in there, then this could be the end of the structure here, depending on how you look at the pattern, right? And depending how the pattern develops as we go. So what we look for is two things. There's a high probability in the daily we're going to have a running flat here. And if you get a running flat there, that would mean more upside. So let's go back to the daily. And the possibility we're looking for in the daily now is a running flat pattern, which means this will make a drop like that, give us a flat like this, and then continue to go up. So the daily has some short downside and more upside. So how short or how far would this downside go? Normally it's a running flat. It could also be an expanding flat. So if dollar index goes up, we can expect this to come down. Dollar index come down, we can expect this to go up, right? So let's see, what the trade we're looking for right now is a trade to the downside on the break of this structure. Okay, this one is actually going up very, very, very slow. When they do that, they tend to fall. It can keep going up for a while more, but then they tend to fall when that happens. Aussie. Well, this is the Aussie chart. And when I made the Aussie chart, let's see, it was November 8th, I think, right? November 8th. That would be November 8th. Let me just make sure I get that correct. Somebody would have to tell me. But I think we hadn't broken this low as yet. And we were expecting this move to come and break the low before we go up, which is what they did. Come break the low and go up. You can watch it. Right now we're going sideways. This could come a little lower here, but then we were expecting it to go up. Come down, break the low, and then expect more upside. So New Zealand. While I'm in the Aussie, I already did the Aussie pairs, all of them. There's a YouTube video there happened last year, so you can go and check it. I'll just go through all the Aussie pairs so you can see. Exactly. This one, it was here and we wanted it to come down. I think it was November, September, October, November. This low had not broken, so it has to be before that. I don't know when. So we expect it to come, break this low, then go back up. So the low is broken, they're going back up. Same would be for the yen. This one was the one I was telling you about that has a big consolidation, right? and it's not going anywhere. Now, this chart doesn't show you a lot here, but this chart, no, sorry, this is the Aussie yen, not the Aussies. The Aussie New Zealand is the one. So on this chart, we're looking at this move here, up move there, come back here. This looks more upside, much more upside. You can see that, right? So on the daily, the pattern you will be looking for. Right now, we're looking at this piece. On the Aussie yen, we saw this, and we were trying for this to go up, right? So this one we said would come down like this and then go back. It came a little more complex, but it's the same thing, and it's going up, right? So Aussie-Cad, pretty much the same thing. Look back at it, you would see down move, come break this low, and then go up. It's more upside. You can see that already. Aussie, New Zealand. This is the one I wanted to show you. The big picture. See? So we were expecting this here to consolidate in this zone, actually to this level, and then take off. And that didn't happen. They actually broke the low. So once they broke the low, we know we're going to come somewhere here, retest this low, and then go. So we're still coming up, but you're not coming up as the impulse we were expecting. You're coming up now to complete the pattern and then continue it to the downside. So every time we see these structures, we assume that this running flat would behave like all previous running flats behave, which is come here, come back down here, and then go. Right? That is what we were at. So there's a little more upside on the daily, but after that, expect the downside. This thing could still go. I still think it's going to go somewhere, most likely somewhere about here, and then we're going to look for the downside. Can this come down from here and this be the top? It could be. It's not the perfect one, but it could be. We don't have the sell setup, not on the daily, not on the hourly, not on the 4 hour. We don't have the sell setup on any time frame there, right? So, and I also have the Euro-Aussie there, which already broke out. So I think the Euro-Aussie, we're already showing you that this could consolidate here. I can't remember when it is, but I think this one had already happened. We're expecting consolidation in the downside, or this was going up and come down, right? Now, you may want to look at this as a bigger picture as well. What is the bigger picture in this telling us? We're in this structure. See this? We're in this structure. So when this comes to this level here, two things we would look for. Either it starts a much deeper, bigger consolidation and then drop, or it's going to drop slowly, slowly, slowly back to about this level. Right? That's one option. Second option is they pull back really, really deep and then come down. We don't know which of those two is going to happen. But this is the big impulse. This is the correction. This made a flat. It's going down. I think we're going to go more. So on the daily, at least for now, this impulse is going to go somewhere because we broke that structure. And then we'll see. So what we're looking for today, I think we're already in the sell in the shorter time frame, is for this piece to continue to go down, right? So you would look in the shorter time frame, and if you follow us, you will see how we manage the shorter time frames, get in, get out of trades to the downside. I think I also have the Pound-Aussie there, right? The Pound-Aussie also breaking out of the bigger picture, the bigger correction. We're breaking out, and we'll be retesting this low. So at some point, this might go back up a little, but then you're expecting it to come back here. So any sell setup you'll be getting, you'll be trading. You would look for impulse, look for flags. You're going to have a lot more correction. Once in a while, you might get a surprising drop, but there will be a lot more correction. So these are just the longer term views. Remember, they don't go up in a straight line. So don't get all, upset when it's going up, because we are expecting it to go down and it goes up a little more. That does not change the structure that we're looking at. So that's for the Aussie pairs. New Zealand, I think this one also we had the forecast for the upside. And big picture, this looks like it can go more. So we have to negate one structure, the possibility for running flat or an expanding flat here before you go down back. Once that is negated, we're going to confirm it to come and break this top. So what will give us, if we think we're waiting for it to be negated, what is going to negate that? What is going to negate it is if you start to get a consolidation here, a bigger consolidation for upside. That would be a weekly consolidation, because in the daily, we already had a few daily consolidations, see? We had this one, running flats. We had this one. I'm not sure where we put that. Maybe we'll have to look at all of this as a bigger running flat, and this is just a smaller running flat here going up, right? Which means if we watch this, there's a likelihood we'll continue to go before we get any bigger correction. So I'll bring that down in the lower time frame, and we're already looking for buy setups once we break out. The Swiss has been coming down for a while, and it's coming down as an impulse. Right? It's coming down as a very impulsive move from the top here. So the question we have is, how do we look at this piece? If we look at this piece as all the correction, then this could come and break the low again. But if that is not all the correction, but just a part of the correction we're in, then the chances are this one is going to go back up here. So which of those two is going to happen? I'm more inclined to believe they're going to go back up rather than down. And we are also looking at this possibility for this sharp wave to happen, at least one more up and then come down, right? Because we're looking at the daily and we have that sharp wave there. See the sharp one? And it doesn't fit anything previously. So this is an impulse in a running flat correction that comes down like this. So we're expecting this to go up like that and then down. And then the bigger picture up. So right now we're looking for a buy setup on the 1 hour and the 4 hour on the Swiss. It's not there as yet. The 1 hour setup is not there. The 1 hour setup looks downside. Looks like a short-term sell within this correction. So if you're looking at this, short term, we think this might drop a little, but once it's coming up anywhere here, we get a flag, or on the break of this, we'd be looking for a trade to the upside, right? So we would still look for the flag, but anywhere we get a flag that shows upside, we're buying. Yen, I told you I would elaborate on a few of them. Yen is one of them I want to show you more. We have a buy setup on the yen. The daily chart is to the upside, because we're getting a correction here in the daily. You can actually see that we're getting a daily correction here. Just like you had this and you had a daily correction here. See that? They dropped, made another correction and dropped. So question is, can this actually drop more? It can, very rare, but it can do that, which means this could come a little here, drop, 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 come back here and then go. If that happens, we might retest the low again before we go. But as it stands now, it could break out of the structure and go, because we also have a weekly consolidation, which is this one, right? That whole big one. So this could not only come here, it could come and brace this stuff, right? That's one. And then if you're looking at the bigger picture, if you're looking at this, we have this. So this could come all the way back to the top here. So 3 places where patterns could change when they get there. One of them is when they come to this top. This one is when if they break out or if they go back down, right? That's one option. Let me use a different color. It could come back down from here or it could continue to go. It could come back down from here or it could continue to go. Those are the areas where we'll be watching for structure pattern development. So one of the ways we look at wave analysis, and by the way, the term wave analysis is something I coined when I didn't want to call myself Elliott Waver, because everybody was Elliott Waver. But I've decided of late that I probably will change that name because it's abusive. A lot of people are already abusing that wave analysis thing out there, and people are starting to have a bad impression of what wave analysis is. So we might go with not just wave analysis, but wave analysis with pattern recognition. And that will send all of them confusing. Very soon you'll hear everybody call themselves that they're doing wave pattern recognition, right? Something to that effect, or they'll try to incorporate that. When you hear it, you will know that, oh, they probably got it from here. So it's more of a recognizing patterns as the waves, right? So what type of patterns we make when we're making the corrective waves, the corrective structure. And that tells us where we can get the next big impulse. And that will happen on any time frame, on the 1 hour, and the 4 hour, and anything. We're always looking for where is the next big impulse based on what patterns we are getting in the waves. So we're looking at this pattern and they're telling us upside. We're looking at this pattern and it's telling us upside. We're looking at this pattern. You can go down to this level and it's telling us upside. We're looking at this pattern here and it's telling us upside. So you know what? If we get a buy set, we'll take it. Right? We have a 90% chance of being right on every one of those patterns as they develop. So let's see. You will be here. If you watch this video, and I think a couple thousand of you will watch it, and I hope the couple thousand of you share it to a couple more thousand people, you'll be able to track them and see how they develop. And I'll be doing some daily webinars, so I'll show you the changes as we see them if there is any. Let's go back to the daily. CAD is a very similar one I've shown you guys before. We were expecting some up move, whereas we think that the yen going up is going to be a big impulse to the upside. CAD going up might not be an impulsive move, right? It all depends on whether we break this low. Sorry, that's not a straight line. Let me take this one. It will all depend on whether this move coming down breaks the low. Because if we come down and break this low, yes, we could get a straight line up. But if we don't break that low, the higher probability is we're going to do this. We're going to go up, but we're going to go up like this. See, this came down here. So you have a move up. You have a move down and you have a move up. You have a move down, up, down, and you're getting a move down. So it's going to come up, come down back, and then go. This is the most likely possibility. But I would not exclude the fact that they can come here, go back up there, and break out the top. So let's see which one of those two develops. That is easy to track. It's going to be easy to trade on a daily basis once you start to get the correct structure going, right? Aussie pairs, I show you all of them. You can go watch that webinar again. So let's go to the Euro-New Zealand. Euro-New Zealand is breaking out of the structure. This is quite an interesting one. And I think once, I don't know how many of you were following me on TradingView when we were here. Let's say somewhere here, that would be somewhere in 16. You can actually go watch it. I don't know. This one is the one that I will have. I think I was in the FXCM chart, so you'll have to find an idea here. Let's see if we can find that idea. It would be quite interesting. No idea will match in a wonder. Let's see if we can find it on FXCM. EUR. It was a funny one. That's why I looked for it. NZD. Euro New Zealand FXCM, I think was the chart I was using. Yeah. So you have to look for a chart that says 3,003 pips or 5,005 pips or something like that. Let's see if we'll find it. It was blocked, so I might be able to show you. Euro New Zealand, the start of a big move, but that was the serious chart. There was one that was a very funny one. Let me see if I can go back and find it. I'll have to go back really far back. Euro in New Zealand. You will just see one bigger. Don't miss this similar structure. Well, you would see when this was coming down, when this move was coming down here. That move coming down there, we showed you it's going to go up there. But that was not the one I was looking for. Let me see if I can find this. New Zealand downtrend. That was a downtrend. All of those were the downtrends. These are short-term charts. I'm looking for the longer-term one. On a daily, it has to be in a weekly, 240. I posted a lot of charts, to put it that way, in short-term, right? There was a lot of charts posted there. Don't miss the big move. We were showing you that big move coming. I don't have it. You're looking for a trend reversal. We don't have it. Strange. It must have been removed. But I don't think when they block it, they remove it. Let me see if I can find it. It was there. I remember I posted that one. So the question is whether I'll find it. So I'll just tell you what the chart is about. There was one guy who came out and said he's giving 1,001 free pips. And I looked at the idea and I said, well, that's crazy. How can you promise somebody 1,001 pips when you don't have an idea where, whether you're going to have 1,000? So then I said, okay, Here is a chart. You're going to get 3,000. I put it like this to break this top, as usual, to break the top. And I think it's 3,000 pips. If I remember, 3,000 or 5,000. So I said, we were here. So I said you're going to have, yes, 3,003 pips. I remember giving people, here is a free chart for 3,003 pips. Because what they do, they make an impulse, it makes a correction, and then it makes the next impulse. In this case, it is slightly different. Actually, it didn't do what I expected to do. The pattern has changed, and the pattern has changed to give us some good confidence in the next big move if you want, right? This turns out to be more of an impulsive move in comparison to this one. So you have an impulse, a correction, and another impulse up. When we have a pattern like that, we're expecting an impulse down, similar to this. That gives you a running flat. Now you can get your 3,003 pips really quick like this one. Hopefully it goes very fast. Sometimes it ends up going really, 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 really slow to the top. But this move has some more down to the downside, right? If you're assuming that this is a 1, 2, 3 structure here, and you can see the way this structure died out, that's how we knew we were going to get the up move. You can see you have the similar structure here. And I think this one is going to die out slowly like that. And then we're going to get a big move up. Don't miss it. See, this one worked. This one is going to work. Don't miss it. This one is a 99.9% guarantee because you can see these patterns. We know them. We know, and we've seen thousands of these patterns on all time frame. Why they behave like that? Well, it's because they're preparing the move for, it's like, I don't know, why does the weather behave like that every year? Right? Why does these cycles of things happen on a regular basis, normally the same way, right? Why does the ocean move in the same way? Why is it the wind? It's a lot of things in nature that behaves that way. It's because of the way people trade, the way these currencies work, the way things are happening in these countries, the way things are happening in the country. It's a combination of everything. There is no one single factor, right? No one person can say, oh, well, it's because Trump said this. Well, Trump is no longer there. Let's not stop calling for Trump. Maybe because Biden said this or because it has nothing to do with them and what they're going to say or what they're going to do. It's a combination of millions of other factors factored in that make, and one of the main factors has nothing to do with the politicians, it has to do with the big money making profit, right? It has to do with simple process of making profit. That is what it has to do with. So we will watch this come back here. We'll watch it go down, and then we'll watch it go up. Keep this one. If you didn't keep any one in your site, keep this one in your site because what I would do is I'll track this for you on a regular basis, right? So we can see when that is going to happen. Come back to the daily, we're going down. We should have more downside, right? So I think this one is going to go down some more. I think we completed this one. I'm not sure we completed that with something at the top here. Sorry. It might have been completed or we could get it in the future, which means we might get a sharp wave like that in the future, complete a running flat here, drop again, and then go. So we are aware of that possibility too, which means once this starts to show upside, we will buy. It's right now showing you downside, not upside. You're getting more sell setups than buy. Let's go. Euro New Zealand, let's go to the Euro-Cad, this is consolidated. Same pattern, same structure, doing everything very similar. You can see this consolidating. Every time you get these consolidations, you go up, you get a consolidation, you go up, you get a consolidation, you go up. Well, we're getting a sideways consolidation, which is even much better, a flat consolidation. So this one will probably come here, come back down, and then go. 90% of the time, that's how it behaves. That's the behavioral pattern of these flat patterns that form. So here's a good example of that. You get a move up, you get a 1, 2, 3, and then you get another move up, and then you come down. So we have a move down, we have a move up, we're getting a 1, 2, 3 here, we get a move up, come back down, and then go. This is the move we're looking for to the upside. So daily, this doesn't give you a lot of hopes. It's not going anywhere very much. Euro Swiss, you can see we are already getting this big consolidation in the middle here. I think we're going to go up one more, come back. We have to come down for this one. And then there's a move to the upside. Now, this could actually take off very far once this pattern is completed itself, but it's still in a sideways move. So we're not going anywhere right now. We're stuck in the sideways. You see this big sideways move? We kind of get stuck in them for a while. Actually, it's this, right? This was the low. This one was a pullback into this impulse and then go. Because this is not lower than this. This is the lowest point. So you've got a running flat forming here. You've got to move up, a very deep correction, and then that move, right? So right now, I think we're just going to have a flat, not a running flat. They're not breaking the top. They could also come back here. I wish they come back here right now because that gives us this move up totally, and we'll just close this as the flat. But this piece here is telling me that they might go a little up, come back down, and then go. So the corrective structure is getting a little more complex. But if you watch it, all you're going to know is that at some point you watch this low. Whenever this comes, either come now or go back up there and then come and then go. That is how we're going to be looking at that structure. All in all, it's just a big corrective structure. It doesn't have any long-term impulsive move that will move really fast. Euro-Yen, we're looking at this and we're assuming that this might come back to this level. And if it comes, we look for the upside. Long-term picture in this is looking more like this. You broke out of this structure. You make a flat like that there, which is what we're anticipating something here, and then keep going up back to the top. So that's the structure we're looking for. Euro-Pound, this is interesting because I think this should go back a little here, break that top, and then we're looking for a move down. Either a move down just to make a flat here, breaking this low, or a move down that will totally go down. Because this here could be the top of a very big corrective structure. Right, that could be the top of a very, very big corrective structure. If that is the case, we will go down really, really strong. If that's not the case, then they will just come back to about this level, come back here, and then go back up. These are all tradable lengths. Remember, I'm in the weekly chart, not even the daily chart. So there's a lot of big moves to get there. First, there will be a big move to get here. Then there will be a big move to get here. And then if they go up, a big move to the upside. If they continue to fall, you will just stay with that move going, which is hundreds of trades you can get in the 1 hour. Pound-Aussie, we did already. Pound New Zealand. Big picture, it's going like this. You can see this pretty easy. We're breaking out. I think we might, either we're going to make a running flat here again, go up a little, and then come back to retest this low. That is the likely pattern that we see forming right now. Now, in a rare case, very rare, this goes back and make a new high and then come down, right? Because this is still corrective. It has to come and break this low. So you may say, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Why that thing has to go break the low? There's no reason why it has to go break the low. Well, let me show you a chart to that effect. So this one is the Swiss, right? And when you're looking at this, you're thinking, well, we saw this, and I thought my forecast was that this has to come and break this low. It has to go break that low, and that was here. That was when the chart was actually at this level. Come on, this line would not go here. When the chart was here. And that one should be here. I don't know why, again, it's not here. We should be able to find this one. That is not a difficult one. It's 3 charts in one. I think it's here. Yep, you should get this one. See, we're here. And if you look at where these arrows are pointing, let me just see if I can play this for you. Come, this one actually went lower. Break the low. I just wanted it to come and break this low, right? Which is the low I'm showing you, this low here. Right, that's the weekly chart. See the up move? Sorry. Yep. This one, come and break the low. That's all we're assuming, that it has to come back and break the low and then go. So this is on the 240, the weekly. Let's see if we can bring the weekly one out for you. Can we bring this out separate? Open it out separate. It's not open separate, but remember that low in the weekly. So I'll go back on the weekly and close this. Go back to this in the weekly. This was the low, see? It was here. The charts were there. We were looking at a flat in there to come down and break this low. They broke it. They didn't come the way we expected it to come, but they come. You can see this correction. And then they, kind of travel down like that. So all of this now is telling me they're going to either take off back to the top, or they'll make it another high, another low, and then go. So all of this will eventually go back up. Right? That's how these patterns behave. Why they behave like that? Good question. So do we think New Zealand is going to do that? Do we think New Zealand will come and break this? Absolutely. It absolutely will come and break that low because patterns behave that way. Come on. Get it? So the only question you have now is whether this is the start of that down move. And that is where trading comes in. You can trade slowly, smaller trades until, I'm on the weekly charts. So if you go in the daily, you can get, daily, you can get a lot of trades to the downside. So we're looking at this right now for a trade setup here. I think this and this will give you a trade back to this level. Then we will be watching this. Is it an equivalent of that? If that's the case, then this will just continue to go down. Can it go up, make a bigger correction, then drop? Yeah, it can. But we will track that piece as well, right? If that starts to develop, we will track it. But the bigger picture is showing you where the charts are going to go. That does not change, right? Let's go. Pound Swiss, I showed you already. This one here, daily structure, I think it's going to go up. And when it comes, you can buy, because when it comes here, there's a good chance it will take off. This might be the low. That might be the final low for this whole piece here. Or this piece is not going so fast. So I think when they come here, they can retest the low and then go. Which is it? I don't know. Right now, all we needed is to break the bigger low, which it already did. So in terms of pattern, it has completed the pattern, but it might not end the impulse to the downside as yet. Right? If that makes sense to you, if you can understand, right? So patterns have a certain amount of waves in them, right? So you have one, you have two. If I'm making a regular flat, I want this to come and break the low to complete the pattern, which means the pattern itself, all the requirements for that pattern is completed. But I don't know where this will stop. This could still go a little more and then go back up. Not exactly at the break of this. So if you're in that trade, you can keep trading it down until it turns and then start to trade the big one up. Right? So of all of them I'm showing you, that's what I'm showing you the patterns. Pound yen, this one is easy. So what we're looking for, I want this to come back here and then go and break this top. So I think we'll have a flat here and a running, maybe a regular flat. If they break the top first, it's going to be a running flat and then go back and break that top. Right? That's what I think. And we just came to that conclusion this morning because there was a chance that they would come to the low. But I don't think that is going to happen because this movement might be a pound movement. This is your trade, your most immediate trade you should be focused on. And then we would look for this trade up. Now, is it going to go like this or is it going to go fast? We'll see. Pound-CAD, same structure here. You're getting, we had all of this, right? And then you have this piece here. That looks very corrective. So if you're looking at this as a 1, 2, 3, or as a 1, 2, 3 here, a 1, 2, 3, then you should expect a 1, a 2, and a 3 here. But that would still be a big corrective structure before it comes down. Now, this piece is a bit complex. This piece is very complex. So we have to wait for more parts in that piece to confirm the break of the top, or is it going to fall right now? And just so I don't go into a lot of details here, I'll show you very short what I think. This has to come break that top, come back down here, and then go back up. Those are the three moves we'll show you that we think possible next. And from that point, it could either totally drop or continue to go up. So there is where we have to, when we get those three that fulfills part completing the pattern, then we will know whether completion of that pattern give us a pattern for upside or give us a pattern for downside. And the reason for that is because of this move up, right? We'll come back to that in a much later video if I do have the time for that. But for now, watch this piece to probably go up here. Watch it to come back down, and then watch it to go back up. Let's see if those three moves come. We're looking for a buy setup on this right now. New Zealand yen. New Zealand yen, well, all yen pairs we were anticipating to go up. New Zealand we were expecting to go up. It's going up already. It's very similar to the Aussie pairs that I was showing you. We're expecting more upside here. This trend to still continue up to go. New Zealand Swiss, pretty much the same thing. New Zealand CAD, pretty much the same thing. CAD yen. Now CAD yen has this possibility. I think we're going to drop back to test this low. As of now, we might get a pattern like this, and then we're going to go up. Right? That's the thought process right now because of the way it's behaving. Now, in a very rare situation, this might come just a little here. And if we get a very impulsive move out of the structure, we would wait for correction and trade this all the way back to the top without retesting the low. But as it stands right now, the probability for the downside is much higher than the probability for the upside. Test this low first and then go up. This pattern is going to be a 1, 2, 3. Or is it a 1? Let me erase that. Is it a 1, 2, and this is already the start of the third wave up? Now, the reason I don't think that is the start of because it's really, really slow. There are cases when the impulse starts and go very slow. But this doesn't seem to be one of them. So I might be wrong on this one, but it doesn't matter whether the long-term forecast is wrong. We're tracking the smaller waves to the upside or the smaller waves to the downside. Trade those, and then it will confirm one out of the two for us. And it is at a point where it will confirm very fast. Either break out impulsively, correct, and then we buy. And we will buy, sorry guys. We will buy for this top, or just drop, make a correction, and sell for the low. Right, either one is going to play out for us. CAD Swiss, this is a bit easy. This is not going anywhere. You get some consolidation here, come back to the low, go back up, and then come back down. We're looking at this pattern. We're looking at this pattern, right? This pattern. And then we're expecting a move down. This is a big consolidation. Swiss yen. Very similar move to the CAD yen, sorry, but this one is almost at the top. So I think we might just break the top and then start the downside. It could still go for a while, right? We'll have to assume that this was all the consolidation there. That was all the correction. Unless this whole thing decides to become a much long 10-year drawn-out consolidation, which I don't think it's going to do, but it could do. So it's still going to come down by all means. If that is going to happen, it's going to come here and come down back to the low. So if it's going to be an impulse, break the top, come down as an impulse, we'll break this low. If it's coming down as a correction, part of this correction, it will come down fast, but it's not going to break the low. That's all. So the downside is still going to be there, except one would break the low and one wouldn't break the low. That will be the change in the pattern. This has more downside. I'm looking at this one, and I'm looking at this 1, 2, 3. So I think there's one more to come. Now, it could come back all the way to the top and then come down, right? So right now, if you get buy setups to the upside and you want to buy this, go ahead. There is still a lot more to the upside. But based on the long-term structure, it has to make an impulse down, one more impulse down to complete that pattern. So let's see, there's a lot more here. I wouldn't do all of them. This webinar will get too long. It's already about an hour and more. We started at 12. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do oil and stop there. And then the rest of the charts, I would do another short webinar on those daily charts. So if you watch this and you have a chart you want me to do the daily webinar on for you, send me. If I think we have enough people going for the same chart, if I get 10 people asking me for the same one, I'll do it. If only one person asks for it, then the chances are it might not get into the webinar, right? I might send you the view, but it will not get into the webinar. So, but if I notice a lot of people are asking for the same charts, so all of you can send, because if 10 of you send me that, hey, we want this chart for the daily, then you'll get it, because I don't want this to be too long. So I'm going to do it to oil alone. So oil long-term view, if you look at this bigger one, the long-term view is 2. 1, this could be a running flat, and we come back down. That's the first option we're looking at. The second option is this is all the correction. This is the low, and we're going up, which means you have to have a correction here. Somewhere along here, you have to have a correction to confirm that upside. So all we have now is this move, and that's not confirming anything, right? On the daily, that is not confirming anything. We're still going up. Short-term trades to the upside. You want all your trades to the upside now to be short-term, because there's a down move coming down. There was a very big daily correction, or as an impulse back to retest this low. And oil could get back to retest this low. Well, not this low in particular, but low enough, because I don't think this would repeat itself, right? That was the anomaly of the, not the oil price itself, but the contract, the overnight contracts. UK oil, same thing. Very similar structure in the big picture. If you go back to the weekly, you'll see it. Either this becomes a running flat, come back here and then go, or this drops, make a new low, or sorry, or this continue here with a correction and just continue back to the top. So which of those two? Every correction you get, you buy. If it starts to drop, we have to wait for setups to sell. But right now, there will be some down move, which means a correction is going to start in the daily very soon. So every buy you get, and you're getting a buy setup right now, could be short term, take profit. Wait for another consolidation, buy again, take profit. Because the bigger daily correction is going to happen very soon. We do have a lot of divergence charts and it's telling us that that possibility is going to happen. Right? So I'm going to end this video here. It's going to become a 2-series video because I elaborate a lot on some of the charts, and I was trying to find some funny videos to show you, some funny charts that I post to show you. I hope I can find that 3003 pips one. And you can see that even though it was humorous, it did work out. It was meant to tell people that if somebody promised you 1001 pips, they're not going to give you. It's a waste of time. You should not listen to that. And that was part of my humor and trading view. And seems not everybody has a good taste for humor over there. They actually, I think they block the charts, they remove the chart, and I don't know, ban for a day or two or some crazy stuff like that. I'm not, just to tell you, right? But I meant it as humor, like, guys, that is crazy. So I hope all of you guys are having a good week trading. We are already taking trades in our trading room, and we're looking, I can tell you one of the trades we're looking for is the buy in the yen, and we are already in the sell in the Pound-Aussie. It's going very slow. It's positive, but it's going very slow. If it goes slow like that, we'll close the trade. Because we are looking for a very sharp impulse. And if the impulse doesn't go very sharp, then you take off the trade. There are a few more trades we're looking at in our trading room. Once I stop this recording, I'll talk to the guys and see what other trades they're looking at, and then we'll see where we go from there. So those in YouTube who are watching this, if you get to this end and you want to know more about what we do, send me a Skype message. You will find it in the description. All right? And please share the video. My traders, I hope you can find time to share the videos. All right, so thank you very much. Everybody have a great week ahead, and talk to you, see all of you tomorrow. Tomorrow is a free daily webinar. All right, so take care. Bye. I stopped the recording.